Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Aries March 2023 Weekly Illumination reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot, a place for you to better connect with and illuminate your own personal spiritual importance. So, hi, everyone, and welcome. We are going to be taking a look today at the energies for the week ahead. So about 7 days from when you're watching this video. And we're going to be looking first at what you're bringing to the week, what's going on around you in your external environment. And then we're going to be looking at a block or a challenge and then an opportunity that's looking to come in for you. So I hope all of you are doing well. We are getting closer to your birthday season, Aries, and the true start to the new year in the realm of astrology and the Zodiac. So I hope you are looking forward to that. And we're going to jump right in. So let's see. What are you bringing to the week ahead, Aries? What's the energy with Aries for the week? Now, tomorrow, I am filming this on March 6th. So for some of you who are watching it today or for the next couple of days, on the 7th, we do have a beautiful full moon in Virgo, which is a great time to really get in touch with parts of yourself that need to be healed, a great chance to release some bad habits or patterns in health or that are restricting you in some way. So it's a great way before we start to move towards your season to really kind of cleanse on all levels, physical all the way through the spiritual, and just kind of get into that mind frame of release. Okay, ooh. This is actually a very positive energy for you this week, Aries. Okay, so we've got Two of Cups and we've got Nine of Cups. Two of Cups is what you're bringing to the week, Aries. This is a beautiful energy of wanting to connect in an authentic and equal way with others. Now, in your external environment, we have the Nine of Cups, which is one of a lot to be grateful for on an emotional level. So meaning that I think for many of you, there's going to be kind of the spotlight of just like how much you have in your experience around you to be grateful for. But there's also, the Nine of Cups implies a wish, because there's still one cup left to go towards the Ten of Cups, which is our ultimate heart's fulfillment. That's the happy family card. That's bringing a little piece of heaven down to earth. It's all the things we want to feel on an emotional level in our experience. And so there's a feeling here of really being able to see just how much you have, being grateful for that, but then also seeing, I think, perhaps where you'd like to bring your cup into this experience to meet others who are going to get you closer to that Ten of the Ten of Cup experience, which could be wanting to meet that ultimate romantic partner or wanting to connect with that friend that's that close committed relationship that's just going to take your experience up to the next level. It could even be connecting with a new business partner, something along those lines, that really the wish comes from you wanting to connect some authentic part of yourself with others. Now, kind of looking at the past, moving up into the future over here, we have the Knight of Wands, which I always love. That's the energy of Sagittarius. It's one where we're kind of just going out there, doing what feels good, kind of being that spiritual adventurer. And with Strength coming in after that, and then the Two of Wands, I get the feeling now that experience has kind of come to a close, that now it's time to really have this strength to kind of rein in this fiery, passionate, I want to go out and see the world, reining it in to really direct yourself towards a specific focus or a specific path. And why do I say that? Because we have the Two of Wands coming in. The Two of Wands is when we get that chance to kind of be at that fork in the road of, okay, I can choose to go this way from this point, or I can choose to go this way from this point. And it really is making that choice from a place of what you're passionate about, but also that you're taking action. This is not a choice of, okay, I'm going to sit and on a mental level and mull it over. This is, what are you going to take action towards? So this card always speaks to kind of where do you go from here? And for many of you, where you go from here is going to be leading to close connections, to intimate relationships. It may actually be that you're reviewing this in your life because that's what's going to be the basis for the choice here of where you're going to be going. So let's take a look here. Now I'm going to be pulling some additional cards now to really get a look at, I love it, Ace of Cups here. Yeah, the challenge of the block, then advice from Spirit, what Spirit's advising you to really embrace this week to help you get over the block. And then we're going to be looking at the opportunity. So then we have the Queen of Swords followed by Death. Death is at the heart of your reading. So this is actually can be a very... This can be a week that can really lend to kind of closing the door on an old version of yourself and really walking through. This is like a spiritually cleansing week for many of you. Now, the Ace of Cups coming in as your primary card, this is actually your main challenge. And the Ace of Cups is really getting in touch with kind of love in its purest form. The Ace of Cups is always the opportunity from the divine for us to get not only reconnected to our cup, which is the wellspring of our creativity, our hopes, our dreams, the needs we need to have met, but it's also the opportunity of new love and new connection with others. So through our connection to ourselves and directly to the divine, we then can bring that love for ourselves forward and then connect that with others. Now, on the other side of the Ace of Cups, we have the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords is the individual who can really speak to her story. She knows what she's gone through. She understands the lessons she's learned. She's also understood what she's had to go through and what she's survived, or how even through going through difficult times, she has come out learning a lesson that has made her stronger, that has allowed her to see something more about herself. And the sword she holds is her truth, her sword of truth, of what she's learned about herself and what she knows she's capable of. Now, with the Ace of Cups being the kind of challenge, this might be where many of you want to lean into new love, or want to lean into maybe a reconnection to love. You're ready to show yourself, you're ready to connect on an authentic, maybe even vulnerable way. And yet there might be a little bit with the Queen of Swords here of, yes, but the last time I did this, I got hurt. Yes, but the last time I vulnerably, shared myself in a romantic relationship, that individual wounded me. And you can see that depicted here by the lovers in the background. This can be where the last time you connected intimately with another person or a friend group, that friend ended up wounding you in some way. This can be the last time you leaned into partnership in a work environment, that individual also hurt you or didn't have a good experience. But on the positive side, with death coming in, there's this beautiful feeling with Spirit saying it's time to embrace the element of death. It's time to say that certain things do actually pass away with regard to ourself. Meaning that in order for us to grow and kind of be transformed, when we think about the caterpillar and the butterfly, for the individual to emerge as the butterfly, the caterpillar must die. And it doesn't mean that the caterpillar in turning into the butterfly truly dies, but in our experience, that caterpillar is no more. And I think for many of you, there needs to be this realization at this time that you've gone through that kind of difficult caterpillar phase, but you've gone through the difficult in-between phase, that kind of chrysalis phase of, I'm not yet the butterfly, but I'm also not the caterpillar anymore. And it's almost like you had to be broken down, just like the caterpillar has to be broken down in the chrysalis. And now there's this realization of, not only do you know the story of what you've gone through, but that the version of yourself who you were as you were going into those periods of time where you were hurt, or you did go into something maybe naively. It's saying you're not that individual anymore. Those experiences have shaped you into something new. And if you can really embrace letting go of that other part of yourself, maybe even holding a little bit of, there can be guilt sometimes around that, of just self-guilt of why did I do that? I didn't have to put myself through that, or resentment towards someone else. And this is saying, if you can kind of clear the decks, you have a lot of things to be grateful for right now, and a great connection to the new, to something that really is going to support you. Because on the other side of this, we have the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune is, there's a feeling when this comes in of the time is now. There's also a beautiful lesson to be learned with the Wheel of Fortune when it comes up, that the wheel is always turning, meaning that at some point on that wheel, we are going to be at the top. And some point as the wheel turns, we will be at the bottom. So we can go through that really dark, rough time. Then we can kind of go through the in-between. And then suddenly we're on top again. And it's like, oh my gosh, the sun has come out. Everything is great. And then it starts to go around again. But we have to realize that we have to not only enjoy the times when we are up, but we also have to understand that we really get to know the most about ourselves when we're actually moving towards the bottom and coming back up the other side. And with many of you, with the Empress coming in and the Queen of Pentacles, which is absolutely beautiful, this is very positive energy for growth. I mean, if there's one card in the deck that would represent a butterfly, it would be the Empress in the tarot. So the Wheel of Fortune is kind of coming in to say, for many of you, you're at the top of the wheel at this point. You might have felt that for a long period, you were kind of being dragged under, maybe even rolled over a bit. But now you're coming up and you're moving towards the top. And to enjoy that, to not maybe either run from that or allow maybe, the kind of negative self-talk of, yeah, but I'm going to shy away from this because of what happened. To actually say, I'm in a different place truly at this point in my life. So now with the Empress coming in, saying, what do you want to give birth to? As you are emerging as the butterfly now has new, I would say, new abilities, truly. The butterfly can fly when the caterpillar could not. The butterfly has a different set of colors. It can be attractive in a very different way. It actually eats different food. There's something here around that for many of you. And with the Queen of Pentacles coming in, there's this mothering energy as well. The Empress is the true kind of maternal archetype, or the true divine feminine of being able to truly manifest from a place of receptivity, of holding space for what she wants to create. Instead of Aries, Aries, you harness the energy of masculine energy, of divine masculine, of the outward pushing, go, go, go kind of creativity. The Empress is the opposite. And interestingly enough, the Empress is ruled by your opposing sign, or your opposite sign, which is Libra. It's also ruled by Taurus as well. But specifically, it's almost like you're being asked right now to really embrace your opposing sign's energy of really leaning into the feminine, the receptivity, the what do I want to just nurture here? Now, I have been hearing quite a bit. I am clairaudient, but I have been hearing kind of bloom where you're planted. And I do get a little bit of that feeling here, especially with the Knight of Wands coming up and then Strength coming in to say, it's time to kind of maybe stop the if I go here, it'll be better. If I go here, it'll be better. If I try this, it might be better. It's basically saying it's time now to bloom where you're planted. Make that decision, and it's time to chart the course. But that course is going to be very dependent on your connections with others. So beautiful energy. You do have a lot of momentum here to really get into a place of creating a whole new experience for the new version of yourself that is emerging. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull some additional clarifiers here. So excuse me, clarifying the Ace of Cups, we have the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is a card of communication. It can be kind of blunt, but it is one where we get, for some of you, this may be that you want to communicate to somebody that you love them, or that somebody wants to do this to you, that somebody is ready to come in and kind of meet you at that equal playing, on the equal level. Now, with the Four of Cups coming in, this can also be a communication to someone in your experience as to where you're not feeling specifically excited about your experience. The Four of Cups can speak to when we're looking at everything kind of outside of ourselves as not being fulfilling, and yet we're missing the one cup that's the most important, which is our cup. We're not bringing ourselves to the party. We're looking at, because the Three of Cups can represent a celebration, kind of feeling like you're on the outside. You're looking at everybody else celebrating together, and you're the one kind of sitting off to the side saying, I just not feeling it, or how come I'm not connected? And somebody might come over, and this could actually be that this individual, the Knight of Swords here, who comes in and says, well, why don't you join the party? You're sitting over on the side. So for some of you, it's kind of keep that in mind as to where maybe you've been holding yourself back a little bit from joining the party, from joining the celebration, from allowing yourself to really embrace the love for yourself and the knowledge that that is enough to be brought anywhere, that you are enough at all times, and to really communicate from that space. Now, for some of you too, this could be where the reconnection with someone in your experience could be that it's time, for those of you who maybe have been in a relationship for a long time, or maybe even in a work environment, this might be where it's time to communicate from a place of love and respect for yourself what is not serving you, what you're kind of, disappointed in or just not feeling, and doing so from a place of what you want. If you're knowing that cup, there's one more cup here in the 9 of Cups to get to the 10 of Cups. Maybe this is communicating to someone very close in your life. What is that last cup that you need to have fulfilled? Okay, so let's see here. We have, for the Queen of Swords, you have the 7 of Coins, 7 of Pentacles. Yeah, so there's a kind of a reevaluation of should I or shouldn't I? Is it worth it for me to continue to put my time and energy towards something? And with Justice and the Hanged Man coming in, there definitely is, I think, for many of you, a change in perspective as to either a contract. So this may be a change in perspective as to maybe a marriage agreement. Do I want to continue to invest in this marriage? A change in perspective around a work agreement, because Justice can speak to contractual agreements or legal agreements. And this might be, do I want to continue to, stay in this place of work? And there is going to be a change in perspective as you start to, again, get very clear as to what you want to manifest for yourself. That's going to give you that kind of idea. It's also going to show you, when you review what you've gone through and how far you've come and what you're capable of, that's going to give you an idea as to, to say, you know what? I was strong enough to start again. And I'm willing to break this contract. Maybe it isn't worth it for me to continue to invest my time and energy towards this. Maybe now it's time for me to start again. Chart a new course with the 2 of Wands. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you were kind of one foot in, one foot out, and you're realizing now from a new perspective, you know what? If I really bring myself to this, instead of kind of feeling like I'm on the outside, and I really commit to this, actually, I really feel, instead of because the Knight of Wands can be the individual who has their one foot in, one foot out. And the strength could be that point of commitment where you're like, I'm going to commit. I'm going to commit to this relationship. I'm going to commit to this work environment. I'm going to commit to the new business I'm starting. And it might be that realization of, it's time for me to really speak to what's not working. And it's time for me now to review a commitment in my life. But I get the feeling here with the Knight of Wands and strength, and then the 2 of Wands, there's this feeling of it's time to really kind of bring yourself down to that kind of a grounded place of now starting to not, excuse me guys, hold on just a moment. Sorry guys, I heard my daughter, who was supposed to be taking a nap, let out a loud laugh and a squeal, so I had to get her up and see to that. So anyways, what I was saying about grounding yourself, it's almost like it's time to start to build and manifest for the butterfly that's emerging, but also starting to ground the butterfly in and of itself as well. It's kind of a hard thing for me to express, but it's like at the same time as you're emerging as the butterfly and realizing that this is the new version of yourself, embracing your new abilities, embracing your new ability to attract the right things towards you. It's also time to start really creating an environment that's supportive of the butterfly instead of maybe the caterpillar. So we have the 2 of Cups coming in again, so at the heart of your reading over the Death card. So, this could be where you're actually releasing how you used to connect with others. You might have maybe hidden a part of yourself, or maybe you were overly, open, and it's time to connect maybe in a slightly different way. But this can be where maybe there are there needs to be a death in the way of a connection. Maybe you always connected in a specific, you could have been connecting in an unhealthy way with somebody. This could be where maybe in the past you connected in a codependent way with someone else. You always needed to have that individual in some way. And now it's time for you to actually still step into that relationship, still be there, but maybe now you're bringing a different version of yourself, maybe a slightly more emotionally mature version, or a version of just now you're more aware of who you are, and maybe you can break those chains of codependencies, or you can just break a cycle in how you've related to others or a specific individual in your life. And that's going to change everything. When death comes in, death is very final. It's very absolute in one way. We see the death of something and it's like, oh, it's gone. It's gone forever. But in reality, the realization of our experience is that matter is never destroyed. Matter must be basically disassembled to be reassembled as something else. And so when we think that death is final, we think that the caterpillar is absolutely gone. Yes, we can mourn that loss of that part of ourselves. But at a certain point when we realize it's that part is gone. What you've gone through has changed who you are on an integral and spiritual level. And now it's the beauty of understanding why that part of yourself or that experience or that individual had to be taken out of your life. It's so that now this new version of yourself could use that same matter to become something different. And with the Tower and the Magician, there is definitely the walls coming down. The Tower is that realization that we had been kind of holding ourselves up. We've been hiding in a tower of our own making and hiding ourselves away from the world. Kind of clinging to security. And this is where Spirit gets to come in and gets to knock that tower down and say, no, you're free. You're free to choose your own way. You're free to go out and show the most intimate parts of yourself. And with the Magician coming in, this is saying that you're freeing your inner magician. You're freeing your ability to kind of go back to square one. The Magician is the number 1 in the tarot, and then we have the Empress, which is the number 3. You bring those together, what's in between? The number 2, connection. So there really is something here around getting to that place of learning that you can't do it alone, but connecting in a way that's healthy with others and connecting in a way that's now authentic to who you are today. And that's where in doing so, you're bringing yourself back to the start of your next cycle. And that is the Magician, of understanding that it is your magic. It's what you bring. It's what you release into the experience that gets to create and manifest that heart's desire for yourself. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take a look at the Wheel of Fortune. So what does the Wheel of Fortune signify here as an opportunity for Aries? We have the Chariot and the Eight of Coins. Beautiful, yeah. This is saying it's time to keep working. The Eight of Coins speaks to you've already been working hard towards something, to build something. You've been working towards perfecting something. This is, the apprentice card where the individual sitting there doing it over and over and over and over again. And yet, if you notice here in this specific depiction of this card, a form is coming to shape, and or a shape is coming to form, however you want to say that. But it's almost like the individual now is finally seeing where all that hard work is coming to play. This is like being able to kind of step back and see the why. Why did I feel called to keep doing this over and over again? Why did I feel called to keep kind of working on this skill set or this part of my life? And it's saying, well, now with the Chariot coming in, you have the opportunity to create fast movement towards what you've been working on for yourself. So whether this is working on wanting to, when we think about kind of this commitment here of picking a new path, maybe you've been working on yourself. This could just be self-improvement. And suddenly now you get a chance to make vast strides because you've realized, again, a growth pattern. You've reconnected with love for yourself. You're ready to release the old version of yourself, and now it's time to get a move on it. The Chariot is one where we really get into our own chariot. We become the charioteer. We get our head and our heart in alignment, and we make that decision to go. But where are we going? We're moving towards that place that feels like home. And that's why the Chariot card is ruled by Cancer, and Cancer is a card that is ruled by the home. So there's a wonderful feeling that comes through there. This can also be where maybe you've been working really hard on a certain skill set, and finally now you get a chance to take that skill set and you get to see where the skill set maybe in the work environment is going to be applicable, or why you felt that you kind of had to be tested in this area to keep working on yourself in the work environment. And pick whatever it kind of comes down to. Pick whatever, when you think about the Knight of Wands, that's kind of like when we are kind of going out and having fun. We're going out to see, like, does that feel good? Does this feel good? Is that fun for me? That looks interesting. I'm going to try that out. And then when we finally have that chance to kind of pull back and say, okay, after I've been out there doing all these things, what's the actual skill set I've developed? What's the actual real life physical application of what I've learned about myself? And with the Four of Cups and the Knight of Swords, is kind of like, what am I not, what have I learned about what I need to feel fulfilled, and where am I not communicating, and where do I need to communicate from what isn't fulfilling me at this point? Where do I need to communicate from the Ace of Cups in honor of my cup? Okay, so we have the Devil and the Three of Coins for the Empress and the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, this is where, for some of you, you guys have been holding yourself back. The Devil can be where, again, we keep ourselves in chains. We're the ones that tell ourselves, but we can't do that, because where are you holding yourself back from going out to want to really build something new? The Three of Coins speaks to a vision for something greater that you want to build, understanding that it has to be built with others. There's this feeling of you build it stronger together, but also understanding what is the pentacle that you bring, because the Three of Pentacles can speak to, three individuals come together and they each have their own pentacle. And how does your pentacle fit in with the scheme of the others who are coming in with you? And with the Empress and the Queen of Pentacles, this is really saying, like, you get to, it's where your attention goes. It's what you want to nurture. That is what is going to bloom. That is what is going to be manifested. Now, the Devil can sometimes represent an unhealthy attachment to something or someone that you love. This can be where you maybe have been so, again, attached to somebody else and maybe their vision for what they wanted and what they wanted to build, that you haven't allowed yourself to really get into your own ability to manifest what you want for yourself. This can also be where we let something that we loved get the better of us, where we were so focused on, making something work, or we were so focused on, doing what we love, the Knight of Wands, that we didn't have an eye towards actually building, or we held ourselves back from that part. Maybe we were doing it from a solo place, and now it's time to really kind of join the team and bring others on board. But with the Empress and the Queen of Pentacles, there's also, this is a kind of solo energy. This is that realization of you can actually do it yourself. That you don't always have to be chained, you don't have to wait for your romantic partner to get on board. You don't have to have the perfect business partner. That the more that you understand your own creative potential, and with the Queen of Pentacles, kind of where your attention goes, where you dedicate your focus in the physical, that is what's going to bloom. And that will naturally draw in others to you for the Three of Pentacles, who see what's blooming, who see what you're creating, what you've been working on, and then they're the ones that come in and say, I'd like to join the team. You don't have to hold yourself back, tied to someone else, hoping that they're going to get on board, if that makes sense. Now, at the bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Coins, which is beautiful. This is Virgo energy. It's the energy of kind of the step-by-step plan. It's holding that coin in your hand, that pentacle that you've been, working on, and saying, okay, what's the long-term vision for this? And if I bring my own magic and I get into my chariot, where can I take this? Because the Knight of Coins, even though he's slow moving, he's still a knight. He still gets the energy moving. So this is really saying, if you think about the Empress, she holds space for what she wants. She waits. Same with the Queen of Pentacles. She knows dedicated time, energy, and focus towards something will bring about what she wants to come into being. So with that knowledge, The Knight of Pentacles understands that when he goes out to plant those seeds, he has a broader vision for the harvest that he wants to bring in. And that really speaks to the Two of Wands. When you're making this kind of big life decision as to where do I go from here, well, what do you ultimately want to experience? What do you want and hope will come to be? What do you want those fruits of your labor to look like? And that is really also the Seven of Coins. Because the Seven of Coins is where we get a chance to step back, take a look at what we've planted. We get to take a look at where we've put our time and energy, and we get to actually see the physical results of that. And is it what we want? You know, if you've been working towards building a beautiful home life, and then you take a step back and you realize, wow, I've been putting all my time and energy into it, and this is not what I wanted. Well, gosh, I might have to choose a new path. You know, I might have to put this time and energy and actually put it towards something else. Or this could be where you realize, my gosh, I step back and I realize this is amazing. And yes, I do want to commit to this. And I'm going to not only go from the Seven of Coins to like, okay, I've been working at it, to the Eight of Coins, I'm going to master it. And that's the commitment. From going from the 7 to the 8, that's the commitment. So, you know, there really is something here that's coming through about the commitment to what you want to give birth to and what you really want to move towards. And it does have to do with something that you've already been working on. But it's also in taking a look, I think, for many of you, there needs to be this place where you voice your own frustration. You voice what isn't working for you, what isn't meeting the needs of your cup. And then really doing so from a place of vulnerability and faith that the individual, whether this is a romantic partner, whether this is a family member, whether this is a work, environment or work partnership, that in doing so, it's going to give you clarity as to where you can go, what are the next options, and where can you really, I think, expand on a skill set. So we have blossoming abundance. I love this. We have this number 3, which, again, is the number of creativity. For me, it's the number of divinity as well. This shows that so much is coming into your life. It's a beautiful card to come in as additional advice from Spirit. But when you think about it, blossoming abundance is kind of what I was saying. It's blooming where you are. It's allowing that time to come in where instead of kind of going and this might work better and that might work better, it's like saying, now it's time to settle and to take time. And again, let the seeds you've planted bloom. Let the work you've put in kind of come to fruition and really get into that place of holding space for the vision of what you want, what the vision you see here, why you're choosing to go in that direction. I'm going to see if we can get a couple additional clarifiers here. Queen of Wands. Yep, that is my card of bloom where you're planted. Well, there you go. The Queen of Wands, often she will have the black cat, but she's often portrayed too, not in this specific deck, but in others, as having a sunflower with her, and she is in the middle of the desert. And that speaks to that she can bring something to bloom even in the harshest of environments where something is said that it can't bloom. So there is something here to be said about that you guys are being asked to harness your own yourself. The Queen of Wands is your card, Aries, in the tarot. So this is saying it's time to master your energy in the Zodiac. It's time to use your magic wand. She kind of harnesses the witch archetype energy of the magic. That's why she always is shown with a black cat as well. That she can literally, when she knows how to work with her passion, she can literally bring the blossoming abundance to fruition, just like the Empress can, no matter where she is. I'm going to see if, let's see, and the Devil. Yeah, I think, when you think about it, the Queen of Wands laughs in the face of the Devil. Look at this. She's looking at it going like, really? Am I going to take the devil's hand? Yeah, I don't think so. So keep that in mind when maybe temptation comes back in to revert to an old behavioral pattern. This could be like an old boss coming back into your life that you said, I'm never going to work for that person again, or, falling back into an old, maybe, again, codependent relationship with a romantic partner. Or this can even just be the chains of just self-doubt even. And this is saying, that's done. I have my wand. Look how she's holding it triumphantly. I have my wand. I have my fire. I have my magic. And I don't need what you're offering because I'm bringing into abundance what I want. I'm bringing into manifestation what I want. Okay, and I'm going to see here if there's anything else coming in. I mean, this could even be for some of you where you've moved on from like a difficult relationship, maybe a romantic relationship, and all of a sudden the individual tries to come back in and is like, no, like I do love you now, or it can work this time. And it's like, I think you've worked past that at this point. You know, with the Two of Wands coming in, this is choosing a new way. Okay, so we have two final cards coming in. Surrender to passion. Yes. You can see very much the Queen of Wands coming in here. I love this. It says, get out of your head and feel the fire in your belly. Focus on the people or activities that ignite your passion and let it flow. And that's it. That's, you know, get into your own energy, your own fire energy. And then it says surrender defensiveness. It says defensiveness is a sign of weakness. To communicate in a more empowered way, stay centered and hear someone out. Then offer a clear, non-defensive response. And this is actually I love this card because I know it can be triggering sometimes where you're like, I'm not defensive. The other person is just pushing me, you know, to defend what I want to do. But there's also this point of really, when we get very clear as to what we want to manifest, and we get to this place of self-empowerment where we realize our own magic, we realize what we're capable of, we realize actually our skill set and how we want to apply it, that it comes down to almost like when somebody says, well, why are you wanting to do this? Or, hey, why don't you, I can show you a different way. And it comes down to, it's not, the response shouldn't be defensive at that point. The response should almost be like automatic of like, well, no, I know I'm confident in myself. You know, this would be like you're starting to go out and build your own business and someone else comes in who maybe, you know, you used to really look up to or you felt you had to rely on, and they come in and or you could even be a parental figure and says, you really want to do that? Do you think you can? I don't know. That's not the way people do it. You know, or from my experience, like that's going to lead to you losing money or it's going to lead to burnout or whatever. And that's simply saying, you know what? You know, instead of getting angry or it upsetting you, it should feel kind of natural of like, well, you know, that's your experience. The Queen of Swords is, from my experience, this is what I want to commit to. This is what I love. I now see that the skill set I've been working on, it's all led me here. So, yeah, you know, thanks for your opinion. You know, you can say I appreciate it, but this time I'm doing it my way. And I am hearing that, Aries. You know, it's almost like I'm hearing that, what is it, the Frank Sinatra song? Or, you know, at least I did it my way, that song. There's a little bit of that coming through here. So, yeah, we can only live out our passion. So live out your passion, live out your magic, and do it your way. All right, I'm going to leave it there, Aries. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week, and I look forward to seeing you in next week's Illumination reading. Bye, Aries.